the way. The Oregon police, and so has the Idaho Police Department. I got it here. Utah Police Department. They have he's got an outstanding three different invoices of $90,000 for security. This is why they didn't have riots. They pulled officers off duty, so they had to do overtime and make sure that the crowds were not going to have a fight. Number one. Number two, keep people in order. If they were doing a rough shot or trying to disrupt the rally, they were right there. They had over, believe me, 90 officers at the campaign rally. They had them. 90 officers at all three locations. This is in Idaho, this is in Utah, and in Oregon. Three locations where officers, they had 90 officers on hand. And this is why they didn't have the riots they had, especially in California, because they only had 20 officers versus 90 in Oregon, Utah, and Idaho. 90 officers. This is why there was no problem. They pulled off-duty officers into the campaign rally for Donald Trump. They pulled off-duty officers that were not on duty. They pulled them off to actually do the rallies, so they had 90 officers on hand. They have more crowd control. They also got a National Guard too as well. So this is why the bill that we have for officers and for the National Guard is in three states, $90,000 that the city had to do to pay these people, and they want Trumpy to reimburse the cities. And so Salt Lake City, Portland, Oregon, and I forgot the Pasco, Washington too as well. Pasco, Washington didn't have the riots either. So in Spokane, so all the officers in these four locations did not, I repeat, did not have any problems at all. No rioting. There was no problem with rioting with the crowds. They had overwhelming force. Overwhelming force. So that's why you didn't have the problems they had like California. They did not want to have any more rioting. So they pulled in off-duty officers, 90 of them. They only had 20 down there in California, by the way. They had 90 in Salt Lake City, 90 in Idaho Falls. Then you had in Spokane, Pasco, Washington. They have had over 90. Portland, Oregon, they have had 90. So there you go. Seriously, this is what's going on. And
I can believe it.
And Trump's campaign. They call it a campaign. We call it our campaign office. They had the clients said something we got to look into, but we're not going to do anything until the campaign's over with. But however, the guy they have to use extra manpower to actually make sure the crowd control was not going anything that would not, and nobody would get hurt. Number one. Number two, keep everybody safe and keep the control into a nice peaceful level where everybody was happy. So that's what they had to do. That's why they brought in 90 officers. They did that. 90 additional officers already out there. They had 20 of them. They had 90 on top of that.
But see, that's a smart thing to do.
He had over 100. He had over two. He had over. That means, say, if you have 20 or 40 officers, then you got 90 officers on top of that. That's what they did, and then they also had some National Guardsmen out there too as well. So this is what they did. This is what they had to do. Make sure that there was nobody's going to cause any kind of chaos or any mayhem at all. If there was, they're going to take care of the problem.
Well, I mean, in every other state that he's been in, this has happened where there were riots and people were hurt.
Right.
So Utah, and who was it? The other one you said?
Utah, Portland, Oregon. And then you had Spokane, Washington, and Pasco, Washington. Yeah, 4 different locations that Trump went to. They did not have rioting at all. This is why, because they used additional 90 officers to dispatch for the Trump rally. That's what they did, and they brought the National Guards out there. And this is from the city recommended this. It was not the governor. It was a city mandate of doing the right thing, and getting additional manpower. And so this is what's director of the police department in these locations, not the mayor. It was director of the police chief mandated this and put extra bodies out there. And he said, we got the final tally of how much everything cost. It was $90,000 of everything that we actually asked for. Everything we actually asked for of $90,000, and Donald Trump got paid for this. Because why? Because we did our job, crowd control. We did our job, and Donald Trump got paid for this because that's what we had to do to protect him, protect his campaign, and protect the people who are supporters of Trump, of your campaign rally. We had to do this at our own time and do time and a half plus overtime. So Donald Trump, you're responsible to pay for this, because this is what's required for us to do our job, to make sure that there's not going to be any rioting. Everybody's going to be safe. There's going to be no more bricks or rocks or eggs being thrown at people. There was not going to have it. So that's what they did. And when the general election comes, they're going to do the same thing. They're going to ask for, the states are going to do it. They have to do the same thing, because that's what we did in Oregon, not California, but Oregon, Spokane, Washington, and Idaho and Utah. This is why there was no problem at all whatsoever. We did it right in these 4 states. We did it right. We did the full control, and this is why we're the law enforcement needs to get reimbursed for this. And they did their job. They did a service, and they served and protected the supporters for the Trump rally. They did their job. They kept the community safe.
Yes, they did.
They kept the citizens of the city safe, as well as the county, as well as the facility too, as well, that there was being held at. So they did their job. They did their job, and now they should get. They should have. They're entitled to have that money back for the money that they spent on for crowd control. Trump is required to reimburse him. If he doesn't, that's also, he should be. If he doesn't, guess what? He's not qualified to be president, because he's not. He's worthless. He's a worthless piece of garbage that I've ever seen in my lifetime. He's worse than Hillary. Hillary had her. This is why Hillary has. Each time you go into a Hillary campaign, have you noticed she doesn't get heckled very much? You know why, don't you? She has over 200 officers on her rallies, by the way. And she pays the officers as well. She pays the city councilman to do this. She pays her campaign pays for make sure that she's protected at all times. She does the right thing, but Trump does not.
Well, you know what? That's because I hate to say it.
Even Bernie Sanders did.
Hillary fan.
Even Bernie Sanders paid for the extra security. He said, "This is why we don't have any problems, because we paid for extra protection. We paid for this." And Donald Trump never paid for extra protection.
No, and he was stupid that way. He was stupid, because I'm quite sure even Ted had extra protection.